Van Buuren, welcome along.
Thank you.
You've been doing your State of Trance show here for a little while now. How did that all start?
Actually, it started by JD. You remember that track, Plastic Dreams?
Yeah.
His real name is Robin Albers, and he's a Dutch DJ, and he was the director of a big station in Holland. And he said, "Can you talk about possibly doing your own radio show?" And I thought, me, my own radio show? I mean, I've always had a passion for radio, but I didn't think I could actually do it. And so I drove to the studio, and instead of having a meeting, he sent me in the studio and he said, "This is your first show." And that's literally how the first State of Trance episode happened. I walked into the studio with a bag of records and started it there and then. So and actually I enjoyed doing it so much that I continued it. But it was on a small cable-only station in Holland, and these kids, they streamed it on the internet. So without me knowing, all of a sudden my sets were all over the internet, and by then internet wasn't as big as it is now. And then I went on the forums and I saw that people posted the track lists and everything. In fact, I played a show on a Thursday once, one of the first episodes I ever did. I had to DJ in New Zealand for the first time. So I flew to New Zealand after the show on Friday, arrived there on Saturday morning, and there were people in the crowd, in the front of the crowd, with track lists of my show that I played 2 days earlier in Holland. So that was the moment I realised, my God, internet and radio is so important, especially for dance music.
What was your first memory of liking electronic music?
My dad was pretty progressive, actually. He used to listen to like everything, like the progressive sound of the 70s, the Studio 54, Loft, but also like Jean-Michel Jarre, Klaus Schulze, Tomita, more like the first synthesizer stuff. And it's really strange to remember, but in that time, synthesizer music was considered to be awful.
Yeah.
Synthesizer was not an instrument. Only until the Beatles started using the Moog, and it goes as far back as that my dad always told me these stories about, Moog synthesizers and stuff, and he was one of the first to buy actually a synthesizer, and I was like so amazed by that, and that's how it got started.
Did your dad actually produce music?
My dad never actually got into producing music. He always says he wants to, but he's actually a really good piano player, just in his spare time. But he's a doctor. So we grew up in a really big house, and there was always music around.
So when did you get your first pair of decks?
I got my first pair of decks. They weren't even direct drive turntables. They were belt-driven turntables. I think when I was like 14, 15, and I was born in 1976. What if I'd been born in like 10 years earlier? I probably would have been in a band or something playing guitar right now. I'd be sitting here with long hair talking to you, but I grew up in a time where all my friends, we were in Holland, we were all collecting records. We had this little competition going on, like who had the first white label, and we were in front of the record store at 9 a.m. in the morning before the first class for the school went in. We went to get that vinyl because there was only one copy and it was in the store window and stuff like that. So.
Excellent. How did you make the leap from vinyl to CD? Because you talk really passionately about vinyl, but it's heavy to cart around the world, isn't it?
Well, I never saw that as a bad thing. Because I've been travelling with vinyl for years. I lost my records a couple of times, but I still think there's nothing more reliable than vinyl. Because even now, I burn my CDs in 2-speed and use a special brand of CDs. Sometimes the CD just stops. It's horrible, and vinyl was much more reliable in that sense, and I definitely miss the vinyl days. Because you can have a track exclusive. There wasn't anything that you could share online. It was more special in those days. But CDs have a big advantage as well because it's easier to travel with, and it's easier to edit tracks. You're always up to date with music because of the internet. But dance music has changed drastically over the last 5 years.
Excellent. How does the UK compare to the rest of Europe, club-wise?
Well, the UK,
and you can be honest. You won't offend us.
No, I mean, UK, for me, I'm talking from my experience, but the UK is the centre of dance music and music in the world in general. I mean, if you look at the amount of bands and artists that come from the UK, it's almost ridiculous to think that, all the big artists that ever lived come from the UK. I don't know what you guys have. It must be something in the food or something, but UK people seem to be so passionate about music. Also, I've read an article that people in the UK buy more music per percentage of their salary than any other country. So it means that the music is in the blood of the British, and I always found that very fascinating. And I owe my whole career to the UK, to the first times I got here, and if communication wasn't a chart hit in 2000, I wouldn't be sitting here. I owe a lot to the people that supported me in the UK.
How important is it for up-and-coming DJs to be making their own records these days?
It's essential, definitely. If you look at the DJ top 100, you'll see that everyone in the top 100 has got a mix out there. There's only a few DJs that stand out and don't have their own records, like Eddie Halliwell. But he's such a unique DJ that, I always try to explain to other DJs that they say, I want to be a famous DJ as well, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, you have to be a unique personality. You have to give people a reason to come and see you. And that's the whole idea behind DJing. You can only make it special yourself. If you look at Judge Jules as a character, if you look at Carl Cox, that's a character on stage. John Digweed's a character. If you know his sound, you know what he looks like. It's good, And a lot of these young kids, they just copy what other DJs do, and it doesn't bring them any further.
Right. What are your highlights so far this year?
Well, this year has definitely been the best year so far. Last week was the highlight of my career. I played a 9-hour set in front of 18,000 people in the Jaarbeurs, Utrecht, to launch my new album, Imagine. It was live on national television.
Wow.
I'm still shivering talking about it. It was ridiculous. And my album entered #1 this week in the national album charts. Not the dance chart, but the regular chart.
Yeah.
So it's just a great feeling. I've been working so hard with everybody, with the whole team, with Armada, with everybody. It's a great feeling.
And what are you looking forward to this summer?
It's going to be an insanely busy summer. I just bought a new house, so there's going to be a lot of construction going on. We're moving to Ibiza again. 16 weeks Armada at Amnesia with an even bigger lineup, and then I'm playing 12 to 16. So I'm going to be doing a lot of traveling back and forth to Ibiza, which I love. But I was talking to Judge Jules yesterday, and he said, I'm really excited about the Ibiza season, but towards the end, towards your 15th trip to Ibiza, it gets a little bit of you get a little bit sick of flying, but that's going to be big. Then I'm playing Southwest 4 and Global Gathering, which I'm really excited about. Touring the world to present the new album, and I'm doing a couple of Armin-only shows, which are big shows with live acts and everything. Starting in Australia, we do one in Sydney, one in Melbourne is sold out, so we do an extra show there. Then there's Romania, and after the summer we go to Belgium, Poland, I think even Lebanon, countries like that too.
Wow.
Vancouver, do big stadium shows.
Excellent. Going back to Ibiza, do you actually get time to stop, get on a beach,
No.
and enjoy some sunshine?
Well, I asked my girl, because like I said, we're busy with the new house, and it's a huge house, and we're renovating it right now, so we haven't really planned anything. I am actually taking 2 weeks off at the end of June to prepare myself for summer. We just rented a house with my mom and dad actually in the south of France, because I don't want to be in Ibiza at that time. I just want to read books and cook a nice meal for everyone, because that's it's really nice. So that's what I'm doing to relax this summer.
It's amazing that with all the international superstardom going on, you actually keep your feet on the ground so much. Is there a place for people that are going to Ibiza this year? Is there somewhere where you go, a restaurant or a beach or something that's not a club or a bar, that you always make sure you make a visit to when you're in Ibiza?
Oh, definitely. Sacapea. That's for me, it's a legendary place. The food's always been consistently good, and they have one thing on the menu called the ox steak. You get a big plate of salt, and then you put the
And you cook it at the table, yeah.
I can't even, I can't wait to go to Ibiza for that. So we always eat there a couple of times.
The hiebas at the end, the shots they give you, absolutely fantastic.
The guys from the Sacapea actually came to Amnesia a couple of times. So it was really, really exciting. It's near San Antonio up the hill. It's really, really nice.
Excellent. Right, we need to get some plugs in for your State of Trance show on Kiss. So tell you what, let's do the Armin van Buuren